But anyway, if I could just get your first name and last name, and I guess whatever title you want to use, retired.
Oh, actually, we probably should step out.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed your class. It was great.
Thank you for letting me barge into your class.
Oh, no. I hope you enjoyed the little session that we had.
Yeah, just that one time.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Excellent. You didn't know we had to work. You know, that's what my kids say. And that's why I'm coming.
You're not very welcome.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just standing right here is great.
Or you want to sit down?
Yeah, well, we can do that. That's fine.
I've been standing for an hour, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's very interesting. I don't know how you got on to coming over here to do this class.
Because of Richard.
Okay.
Richard introduced me to the class. I took one on that disinformation.
Oh,
which
yeah, I
was
took that.
Yeah, which was, I thought, very good.
I think I enjoyed yours much more. The time
Oh, really?
went very fast, yeah.
That was a lot of material.
You did a very good job. And I think that when they say that they'd like for you to teach it again, then
Well, I've
Yes, you
offered,
did.
and I think they're always looking for classes. So.
yeah, they are. They are. And your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Geary Schindel, spelled GearySchindel, and I'm a professional geologist.
Okay, great. And I did want to ask you, and I know this is not your area expertise, but you talked about animal migration, and I thought that was interesting because of a changing climate. So the animals, thank you, are they're moving because they can't adapt to current situation, or what would be your take on that?
Well, they're trying to adapt to, changing conditions. And so I think what we're seeing is that there are some migrations that are occurring later in the year, in the fall and earlier in the spring. And so we're seeing those changes, and those can be disruptive to the animals because in some cases they are dependent upon certain plant communities that can't migrate and for food sources as they migrate. And so therefore the plants haven't necessarily changed their flowering and fruiting periods in that. But
these ecoscapes we don't really think of when we're driving around in our car and that sort of thing, but they're out there struggling and trying to adapt.
That's correct. And sometimes they do well and sometimes they don't.
And also the lack of water would force them to migrate further afield to find water, wouldn't they?
I'm sorry.
The animals would migrate further afield to find water because there's so little of it.
Well, as the climate changes, and we see some areas will become drier, and then of course some storms will become more intense. Mm-hmm. So we'll see deeper droughts and longer droughts, and we'll see wetter wets. So the storms may become more intense in that, but they may be long gaps between extremes. And so, yes, it will have an impact on the animals. Some of them will extend their ranges. Others, their ranges will collapse. So there'll be winners and losers.
Yeah, animals always seem to know stuff ahead of time, like with the tsunami 20 years ago.
May very well be the case, but again, that's outside my area. of expertise,
No,
so,
I understand. And a little bit about then. So we're officially in a drought, would you say? And Alan, when I said it was a semi-tropical, he said, "Oh no," he said we're a semi-arid climate.
Well, we're actually on the boundary between them, and so as we say, we live, to the east of the Chihuahuan Desert, and we live to the west of the subtropical, Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
And so ours is really kind of a transition area.
And so the lack of water, meanwhile bringing in more population, that's really, are we at a crisis point for that, do you think, for San Antonio or Bexar County? Or?
Well, water follows money, and
Yeah.
so we do things like install, $1 billion water pipelines to bring water in from other regions to meet our demands. And that's so, population increases in areas where resources are limited result in increasing prices and an attempt to try and extract resources from other regions to bring in.
Yeah, water is still one of the most affordable utility bills that one has.
Correct. Water. So there's cost and there's price, right? So the cost may be one thing. The price that we pay is actually probably not reflective of the true cost, which includes environmental issues and et cetera.
Big picture. And last question. What would you say for people who are disappointed by the election? Are you very worried what 4 years couldn't do?
Well,
In terms of not, but just in terms of the fact that the administration, the new one, wants to roll things back, not making any other comment than that.
Well, I think we need to move forward with some of the current initiatives related to renewable resources and climate change and to roll them back will cost us 2 to 4 years, and it could cost us a lot more in the long run.
Well, do we see that in physical changes? For example, I said in the class about Spain flooding and then the huge snow dump, and we do see these massive weather events. When we see those things, should we be thinking climate change?
Absolutely. Yeah, most of the major events seem to be more pronounced because of climate change.
Yeah, so that's what we're seeing.
Right. So climate change doesn't cause a hurricane. Climate change makes the hurricane more intense.
Right, that's what we're seeing.